Hello fellow humans and welcome back to the channel. So if you've seen my previous video, I have been on Elementary OS for about the past 2 to 3 weeks. So after I've done that setup guide / review video, I started distro hopping again and ended up on Pop! OS 21.04. I will make a separate video about Pop! OS's cosmic desktop environment and also my setup in Pop! OS. But today I just wanted to make a quick video to show the results of an experiment that I tried. And that was, is it possible to use a PC or a laptop efficiently without having a dock or a taskbar or basically a graphical way of seeing all your active windows and stuff like that. So to accomplish this, I used mainly just one extension which I will be showing you. Now I also have other Gnome extensions enabled which I will show you in the coming videos on Pop! OS and my setup, all the extensions that I use to make it usable. So I'll just open up the extension that I use. So alright, so I have the ArcMenu extension installed here, which I use as a replacement for the activities overview button. Now the activities overview button in Gnome is basically an overview of all your different workspaces and your apps like such, with also a dock here. But I personally don't like that. I mean, I do like that for navigating through workspaces, but other than that I don't like it very much. So I've replaced it with the ArcMenu, and there are various layouts that you can choose from. So let me just show you a couple. Alright, so in the modern menu layouts, one of the new ones that got added is called 11, which mimics the Windows 11 start menu style. So as you can see, your pinned apps and your frequent apps and files and stuff like that. But for this experiment, I did not want any apps to be pinned to a start menu, or basically no graphical way of knowing what apps are active or what are my frequently used apps, so that I can launch it with my mouse. So what I had done was I went into the launcher menu layouts and selected the runner option. So what this runner style menu does is, when I press the Windows / super key or press the ArcMenu button, it shows me a search bar from where I can access my applications, my files, I can go into my directories, I can also access settings, for example display settings, and then I can also access, I can even access system functions like shutting down or logging out and stuff like that. So this is basically a text-based way of interacting with the operating system. Now I usually have the Plank dock on almost all of the desktop environments that I use, but for this specific experiment I tried having no sort of a dock or a taskbar and tried to see how it was. So after using this layout for about 2 to 3 days now, I'm feeling that this is way better and easier than navigating the UI with a mouse. I can just pull up any app I want, any directory, any file I want, just straight up from this search bar. And for the apps that I use even more frequently, I just set keyboard shortcuts. For example, for my web browser, Super B opens Brave browser, Super F opens my Files app, and to get the terminal I just do a super enter, which is the most common keyboard shortcut for terminal, and I get my terminal. And then to close out windows, I do a control backspace. Maybe I want to minimize a window, I do a super down arrow that just makes it smaller, and then I can do again a control backspace to close it. So this mix of using a run launcher, which is the runner ArcMenu layout that you saw, and keyboard shortcuts is way faster, and I feel for my workflow especially way more efficient than using a dock or a taskbar or going through the activities menu and launching applications from there. Even for navigating through the different workspaces, I find myself not going to the activities menu very often, because I've set a keyboard shortcut for that. So I do control down to go to the bottom workspace, control up to go to the top workspace, which for me works really well. So I set keyboard shortcuts for even that, but I still do have the activities overview mapped to the Windows tab shortcut, so that whenever I want I could still go into the activities overview if I needed to go there. Now I don't know how well this sort of workflow would work in other desktop environments and distributions, But for Gnome, I found that this workflow of just using a run launcher to launch anything from apps to my files to settings, and also using keyboard shortcuts to do system tasks like minimizing and moving to different workspaces, and also opening frequently used applications. So this way of doing things, especially in Gnome, for me has worked out immensely. I find myself much faster on Gnome with the keyboard shortcuts and the run launcher than I ever did with my Plank dock and other sorts of docks. The docks like dash to panel is a really good one that a lot of Gnome users use. So I find this workflow much better, and this is sort of similar to a window manager style workflow. So a window manager is basically like a very minimal desktop environment, and if I actually turn on the tiling windows feature of Pop! OS, so let me just do that quickly here. So if I turn on the tiling windows feature of Pop! OS, it actually does mimic a window manager. So as you can see, I open a terminal here. Now let's say I open up the files window. It automatically adjusts the files menu there. Let's say I open a calculator. And by the way, you might not see the run launcher appear here because I'm using keyboard shortcuts for all this. So let's say I use run launcher for something. What else should I launch? Let's say I want to launch the calendar app. So as you can see, it automatically tiles everything. So if I start enabling the tiling windows extension of Pop! OS, I start to find that Gnome is behaving more and more like a tiling window manager. Now of course, it is not at all a tiling window manager. It's a proper desktop environment, and I would say if you're looking for a tiling window manager functionality, definitely use tiling window manager. Do not go for this. But I feel that this way of doing things with your desktop, with your PC, whether you're on Windows, Mac or Linux. Now I'm not sure this would work for you on Windows and Mac because the keyboard shortcut options are very limited. But if you are on Linux, then this kind of workflow, if it makes sense for you, you can definitely try it out. It makes sense for me a lot. I find myself much faster at all the things that I do on my computer. So I would say that the result of this experiment of not using any taskbar or a dock was actually really positive, because I discovered something which makes me faster on my computer. Now I don't know if this works for everyone, but if it does, be sure to give it a try. Now if you are on other Linux distributions or other desktop environments other than Gnome, ArcMenu is not available as a standalone app. It's a Gnome extension. But if you do want a nice run launcher, Launcher, as I recommended in the previous Elementary OS video, is a fantastic cross distribution, cross desktop environment app that you can set to any keyboard shortcut, and that app is really powerful, and you can make it even more powerful by adding extensions. If you want to know more about the Launcher, check out my Elementary OS video. I'll leave a link to it here or here. I don't know, wherever YouTube likes to put it, I guess. Yeah, but apart from that, if you found this video good, leave a like, comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff, and make sure you turn on the notifications to be notified when I release the upcoming videos about Pop! OS Cosmic Desktop Environment, and also the my personal Gnome setup with all the other Gnome extensions that I use. So yeah, make sure you hit the bell icon to not miss those videos when they come out. And until next time, live long and prosper.